Welcome. Today, we're going to be showing you guys how your workflow with Acumatica Chosen's label solution and how we provide value when it comes to your manufacturing operation. If you're a manufacturer, if you're a distributor, right? If you're a supplier, how labeling is important and how we could help optimize your operations. So this presentation is going to be brought to you by myself, Jermel Lewis, and Lucas Tran. We're going to be going through the features here at Asgard. And once again, if you have any questions, concerns, please comment. Don't be afraid to comment in the chat. We're gonna be very interactive here, so feel free to express yourself. Okay, let's get right into it. So this is a little company overview, right? We are Acumatica ADN partner. We're located here in the beautiful Montreal, Quebec. We're founded in 2018. Acumatica Development and Customization Services. This is the things that we offer here at Asgard. We have research and development R&D for new solutions and VARs as well, and 2 Acumatica developer MVPs. Okay, all our developers are fully certified, 2 to 6 badges each. We are also fully certified by Acumatica, and we are ISV partner with Acumatica. So that's a little bit of overview about us. Also, if you haven't met us at the summit, right, as you know, the CEO is Monsieur Stéphane Bélanger, and he's been in the ERP implementation space since the early 90s. So just adding that in there. Okay, so what is Asgard Labels? Right, very, very simple. Asgard Labels is a solution that allows you to define and print labels from any Acumatica screen that you have. Fully integrated with Acumatica, so no additional integrations or applications needed. That's our biggest point, right? That's our biggest value point here is that when it comes to your labels and when it comes to receiving that data to print your actual labels, we do everything and we stay within Acumatica. You don't have to go outside, right? You don't have to go to a third party. Everything is safe and secured with us and with Acumatica. So our label models can be mapped to any screen or generic inquiries, so batch printing, okay? And we print labels in seconds from anywhere on any printer using data from your system. So this is essentially what we do. Okay, so we fulfill all known labeling use cases. So we print labels with 1D or 2D barcodes in mere seconds. Print any industry-specific labels in any size, and we add 2D barcodes to Acumatica reports, such as packing slips, right? But before we get into that, like as you can see at the top, you're going to see 2 different type of printers, right? This is our printing methods, okay? So we have 2. So the first one you see here, we have through the Asgard Cloud Print. So the information, the data, the logistics, how everything moves goes from your Acumatica front to the Acumatica Cloud. Then from there goes to the Asgard Cloud Print, and then from there going to your printer. And then the second option that we have is the device hub. So it's from your Acumatica front, your Acumatica front all the way going to your device hub and then to your printer. Okay, so these are the 2 options that we offer. These are the 2 options that are available for you. Here's the differences. Right, for the device hub, right, this is the oldest method that we have. A lot of clients that are already with Acumatica that like to use this, they just want to use this based off comfort. They're used to using the system already, so they don't want to switch over because they're used to it. However, there has been some issues with device hub. It is unfortunately known for crashing sometimes and being slow, right? That's why we have our Asgard Cloud Print. So really quickly, just to dive in really quickly, it's an integrated cloud, right? So it's an Acumatica and Asgard cloud. That's an integrated cloud, meaning that with that being said, right, the biggest benefit is the speed and the fact that we could connect to all your printers. Okay, so this is the benefits. None of them cost more or the other, right? It's just that we offer both, so you know there's 2 options. Okay, now going into the aesthetics. So as you can see, these are the different type of aesthetics that we can do, right? When it comes to barcodes. So QR, as you can see here, the QR code data matrix, right? We also see if you look lower, the different type of barcodes we have. So Japan posts, Australia posts, and many more. So this is just the beginning when it comes to aesthetics with your labels. Okay. Yes, we are a flexible solution. Okay. So we print labels with Acumatica data, images, attributes, user-defined fields. Okay. And we support for any printing language. So ZPL, IPL, and EPL. So if you look at the right-hand side, you can see the different type of things that we can do with your labels. Okay. So if you want your price on the top, we could put your price on your label. If you want your logo on your label, we could put your logo on your label, right? Depending on the product that you have. It'll be a very good indicator to say, hey, this is fragile, be careful. Hey, this is hot, be careful. We have a client that does a lot of hazardous material, right? So if you have a hazardous product, it'll be great to know that that your product is hazardous. So these are things that could definitely help the communication internally in the operations and in the warehouse. Okay, so we're consistently improving, right? We create any number of models linked to GI, print huge barcodes on regular paper, print high resolution color labels, and more to come, right? So here on the right side, once again, excuse me, you can see this is our front. So this is the Acumatica front. This is what Asgard labels is going to look like within Acumatica. We're going to go into that shortly. So stay tuned for that. And then if you look at the bottom, you see the Everpeel logo. This is a type of color logo that we also can provide as well. A lot of customers like to do the regular black and white, or if you want to add the colors, you can do that as well. So we have the options here. Okay, so just think of the possibilities, right? Think of the possibilities. Either if you're a manufacturer, if you're a logistics company, right? If you're a warehouse, right? We service all. We service all your needs. So if you look here, right? Perfect example. We have a production move. Okay, we have an inventory label, we have a purchase receipt, we have a shipment label. So if you guys do a lot of shipments with your products, either domestically or internationally, right? We have stock items labels and kit assemblies, and then even labels for the warehouse. So when it comes to that, guys, sky's the limit. And if you have an idea, we can make it a reality. So with that being said, right, I'm gonna pass it on to our specialist here, Lucas, and he's gonna go into the more of the technical side when it comes to the labels creations and additional features here at Asgard Alliance. So Lucas, take it away.
Thank you, Jermel. Okay, so for our printing options, right? So we offer a myriad of printing options and printing features, such as the one-click print all. So what this feature is that you are allowed to group multiple labels together from various parts of a screen. And then once your labels are all grouped together, you can have a button to print all the labels all at once. Right? So, example, let's say you are in the shipments and you want to print a label for the summary, one for the detail, one for packages. You can group all those different labels together and have a button to kind of be able to print them all together all at once and really like make it as efficient as possible when it comes to printing your labels. And then the newest feature would be reprinting. So the way we approach reprinting is that we currently have a screen with a print log where you'll be able to reprint all the labels that have been printed and you'll be able to see who printed these labels. So another feature would be auto printing with business events. So the way business events works is that you can set different business events inside a screen, and then on that screen, you can set which label you want to print at specific triggers of the event, right? So once you're ready to print your labels or you're done with your processes, you want them to print your labels automatically after a process has been let's say after a shipment has been confirmed, you can set up the business events, set up all the rules that you want, and then once you confirm the shipments, the business events will roll in, the workflow will roll in, and then it'll auto print your labels. And then also when it comes to assigning your printers, we offer different ways to assign these printers to your label and to your users. So you can assign your printers by your user from workstation or even by user groups. So we offer versatility when it comes to really allowing you how to print your labels. So really, we figured that there's some people who like to assign work groups. So when we wanted to give it the possibility to assign your printers, allowing your work group, instead of having to define every user you would want to print a label for, makes it more efficient when it comes to assigning kind of different users to it. And then the next feature is context-sensitive labels. So what is context-sensitive labels? Context-sensitive labels allows you to add conditional rules to your label itself. So this rule will be applied to the label as a whole. So let's say, for example, you have a rule for Costco. So so Costco has, let's say, specific rules and regulations that they want to be applied to their label. Let's say it's hazardous, and they want to apply the hazardous icon on the right side of the label itself, right? You can apply these rules to the label such that when you're going through your system and you're looking, let's say, for a shipment for Costco, it'll look at the conditional rule. The conditional rule will be evaluated, and it'll look at the customer, right? If the customer is Costco, you'll be able to print this label. Now, if this customer is, let's say, Walmart or any other company, the button to print that label will be physically disabled, preventing you from printing the label itself and really ultimately avoiding any mix-ups when it comes to fulfilling your shipment. So this really allows you to avoid any printing errors or doing any costly mistakes. So now we can go into the demo, and I'll show you a little bit on what Asgard looks like within Acumatica. So here you have your Acumatica front. So in here we have the purchase receipts. So the purchase receipts, let's say a use case would be you are receiving an item from a vendor and you want to move that item into inventory, right? So maybe you want to print your label from the purchase receipt screen. So the way you would approach printing your label, it's very simple. Either you go in the Action Toolbar menu, and then under the Asgard Labels title, you'll have a bunch of buttons. These buttons are the labels that you have available to you for printing. We'll be focusing on the AA receiving label, which I have favorited with the star on the left side of the name of the button. And this allows me to pin the label to my toolbar for ease of access. So once you go through your records and you're ready to print your label, all you have to do is click on the button and your labels will be printed out. So what I have here is a virtual printer to kind of emulate the output of the label. So what it would look like when you're printing a label. And 2 labels have been generated. Now, if we look a little bit at what the content is on the label itself, you can see that some parts of the data are taken from the summary portion of the label, and some are from the detail. So if we look at the vendor information, the warehouse, receipt date, receipt quantity, these are all different data points that you can find on the summary portion of the purchase receipt. And then if we move down to the barcode, such as inventory ID and the lot serial number, these are some things that you can find on the detail portion. Now, I mentioned earlier the conditional rules, right? So the way the conditional rules work is that, let's say I'm on this record and I looked at the vendor. Now, the rule I have applied to the AA receiving label is that it'll verify if my vendor is a food supplier, right? So it looks at the vendor, it sees that this is Ethic Food Supply. That's why I'm able to print this label. Now, if I go to the previous record, and let's say this is an electronics vendor, so Ichiko Electronics Industry. Now you can already see that the label kind of disappeared from the toolbar. And I can confirm this by going in the Action Toolbar menu and seeing that my button is disabled. Now I can't physically click on this label, I can't click on this button, so I cannot print this label. So this really avoids me doing any costly mistakes when it comes to printing my labels. And so there's a lot of processes that go on behind the scenes, just how did I apply this rule? How did I create this label? How did I render this label? And this is all done within the label model screen. So the label model screen is where you'll be creating your label, defining the templates, mapping all the expressions, and assigning your printers. And so the label model screen is really the heart of the solution. There's other screens within Asgard labels, but a lot of them are there to kind of make it easier for you to build your label, such as the barcode screen, the formats, the rules, the categories, the sequences. But yeah, like as I mentioned, this is the heart of the solution, the label model screen. And so on the screen, you'll have your standard ID, model ID. You'll have a description field. The description field is the name of the button that you'll see on the purchase receipt screen or the move or the shipment screen. And then you have a model type. The model type can either be a label, which is the singular label itself. It could be a group. So this could be a group of labels. So like I mentioned, this is where the print all feature comes in play, where you can group multiple labels together and have them printed all at once. And then you have a snippet. A snippet is a reusable piece of barcode. So imagine like an address or a logo that you want to reuse, and it's always the same logo, always the same address that you're using. You define a snippet, and then you can reuse it across multiple different labels. And then every label is tied to a screen. So in this case, since it's a purchase receipt label, we mapped it to the purchase receipt screen. And then from that screen, you choose a view. The view is where you want to pull your data from. In this case, we were looking at the detail portion, so we're pulling from the detail view. And then you have the format ID. So every label will have a format, whether that be a 4x6, 3x2, 2x1, really any other format. You can create your own formats and set its own print density according to your printer. So you assign a format to your label. You can assign a margin. This would be the white space around your border. So let's say you have a box and you wanted a margin. You could set the margin to a defined width and length. And then you move to the setup tab. The setup tab is where you would assign in rules to your label and kind of dictate how many labels you want to print. So in this case, as you can see, the enable when follows the conditional rule of if you are fulfilling a purchase receipt from a food vendor. So essentially, you have a selector that tells you all the rules that you have available, such as expiration date, serial number, or food vendor. And then you can add a tooltip to your label. This is kind of a descriptor on what you would use this label for, or who would be able to use this label for. And then you have the number of copy expression. Now this could be this would dictate how many labels you want to print. In this case, it could be a fixed number, such as 2, which is why you can see on my virtual printer that 2 labels were printed out. Now, usually this could also be something that is read from the screen itself, right? So I can have it read a specific data point from the screen itself. So let's say total quantity. This would read from the purchase receipt screen and look at the total quantity that is received and print that number accordingly. So the way you define create your label, you have to define a template. So essentially, you define a template, and then on every line of the template, an expression will be created, an expression code to be specific. And then from that code, you can map a specific expression to it. You would choose an expression type. So whether that be something that is fixed, so that's something that would never change, right? Such as the vendor or warehouse indicators. And then you can set the expression type to screen once you want to pull something specific from the screen itself, right? So in this case, you're pulling the account name, right? So Asgard would be the account name. I'm pulling this specifically from the screen itself, looking into the document, going into the vendor, and pulling the account name. And then the expression could also be a function. A function could be, let's say, a mathematical expression, such as twice the total quantity, or you want to add two words together. And then your expression could also be a content. A content would be related to the 2D barcoding or even GS1s that we are able to cover. So GS1 barcodes will have specific contents within them in order to fulfill the specific requirements of information that a vendor or supplier would need. And then an expression could also be an image or a snippet. So the expression column is where you map all the expressions that you would like to have on your label, such as whether it's serial number, a specific image, a location, and then you can even add sample values. Sample values are kind of work in tandem with the rendering. So that is what you see on the right side here in the sample. So when you fill in a sample value, it kind of allows you to see what your label would look like without having to waste any paper or having to print the label itself every time you want to see any minor changes to your label. So for example, for this, what I could do is I could change my quantity, my receipt quantity from 10,000 to 200, let's say. I change the sample value, I click on render, and as you can see, the receipt quantity changed. So by doing these small changes, I can see and adjust in real time almost if something needs to be moved a little bit to the left, to the right, or up or down. And then when it comes to choosing which barcode you want to use, right, you would go to the barcode ID column and select from the available list of barcodes that we have. Now we support all types of barcodes that Zebra supports. So whether that be Aztec, Code 128, EAN 13, GS1, QR codes, data matrix, UPC. So any barcode that you want or need, name it, and we will probably be able to create it for you. And the last tab that I'll be discussing is the printers tab. The printers tab is where you assign your users to your printers and then your printers to your label. In this specific version, you would only be able to assign a specific user to your printer. So the way this works is that I pick from the available list of printers that I have to me. In this case, we'll be focusing on the LT virtual, and then I assign my own user to it. By assigning my own user, it means that I'm only able to print a label to this printer. Now you can imagine if we had the user groups or the workstations, it would work the same way, where if you have a specific workstation that can only print this particular label, you would assign that workstation such that no other workstation is allowed to print a label. And if you wanted everyone to have access to your label and print a label to it, you would simply leave this user field blank, and this would indicate that everyone has access to your printer. And so that's pretty much it for the Acumatica side of Asgard labels. You can imagine our labels can be versatile in a sense that since we are tied to a screen via the screen ID selector, you can have your labels even be dynamic in the sense that this purchase receipt label is almost virtually the same as this shipment label. Now, all that was changed is the screen ID, assignment, and some of the expressions. But as you can see, your labels can be reused across multiple different screens. You can have labels for any kind of screens, such as a move. This is a production move that you can print a label for. You even have shipments. And also within shipments itself, or any other screen, we can integrate specific details in the sense that you can choose which lines you want to print your label for and how much per line you want to print a label for. So in this case, for example, the print label column, you would select which labels you want to print and then dictate how many labels you want to print from each column. You can set the specific quantity that you want to see on the label and then define a package count. So that is pretty much it for the Acumatica side. Now, be sending it back to Jermel, where he'll be talking about the pricing and our benefits.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lucas. Appreciate you. Okay, so with that being said, after seeing all the technicals, now we're going to go into our tiers. So the different type of tiers that we have here, the different type of support plans and the licenses that we have here. So before we get into that, okay, the key differentiators. Okay, so we are Acumatica certified, and we are fulfilled by Acumatica. So Asgard Labels comes with many features to fulfill all known labeling use cases. So we are fulfilled by Acumatica, all in one solution. So no external applications or integrations, using data from your system, reliable and up to date, design and print labels from Acumatica, and dedicated customer service team that includes MVPs and Acumatica certified developers. So as you can see here, once again, we hold these two badges because of what we've done, and that's what we're able to do. So that's our differentiators. So license and subscriptions. So this is how it works. So we have our subscription plans, including the following. So we have for 3. So we have an enterprise, anywhere for 6 to 10 printers, professional 3 to 5 printers, and then basics, that's for 1 to 2 printers, right? All these come with 8 predefined label bottles, 15 pre-integrated screens, and unlimited users. Acumatica upgrades, bug fixes, and available on all Acumatica supported versions, and then documentations, wikis on how to do videos. So these are our 3 tiers here of our license subscription of what we have to offer. Okay, this is our support plan. Okay, so we have standard plus, standard, and light. So light is for no label designs, support service in the 2nd year of implementations. Okay, this is more for the clients. A lot of clients, after we go through the labeling points, before we go into the breakdown, really, this is more for clients that really, their first year, they're going to give us all of their heavy labels. So they're more technical labels, they're more advanced labels. And then after the 2nd year, it's mostly they're going to be coasting and then using us as a maintenance service for their labels. So this is the type of service that the light is. Okay. And then we have the standard, which is a 10 label point system, and then standard plus, which is a 20 label point system. So we're going to be breaking that down shortly. So stay tuned. Okay, so this is how the label points work, right? Now we're going to start with the best griddle label. So you see here, this label is a 1 pointer. Okay, so there's 1 text and a 1D barcode. Okay, now the second one, the one that says Asgard Alliance, this label is a 3 pointer. And the reason why it's a 3 pointer is because it has 1 logo, 1 text, 1 address, and a 1D barcode. And then lastly, we have a 5 pointer label. With this one, you see all of the attributes. So just for the 5 pointer, I think that's yes. Thanks, Lucas. So yes, so this label is 5 points. So 1 logo, 1 image, 1 text, address fields, multiple 1D barcodes, and a 2D industry specific barcode. So as you can see, because there's more things in this label, therefore there's more points, meaning it has a higher ranking with the point system. We also have colored labels, okay? So now we have, as you can see on the left side of your screen, you see the 1 colored image or fixed color. So you're probably wondering what you can do with this. This is for clients that have a lot of diversified product line. A use case is how some clients, for instance, if it's very diverse, green could be for eco-friendly, right? Red could be for hazardous. So C could be for poisonous, right? So these are different types of ways that you could sorry, excuse me, you could help your organization when it comes to communications internally, and this is a way to organize that. Then we also have the multiple colored images. So this is for dynamic colors, so color changes based on conditions, right? And this is a 3-point label. And that is about it, guys. So for more information, once again, you can message me, jlewis@asgardalliance.com, or you can message Lucas Tran at ltran@asgardalliance.com. Once again, we really appreciate you guys coming here today. We just want to see maybe if you had any questions. You could elaborate on your questions. You could ask anything when it comes to labels, and we can see if you can answer them. So is there any questions? Nothing. Okay. Well, guys, we really appreciate you guys here coming in today. Thank you guys for appearing today for our webinar. This is going to be the first of many. Once again, thank you, team. Thank you, team, for coming in today. Yes, this is recorded. So if you guys want the recording, we can definitely send that to you. And with that being said, we appreciate you guys. Have yourselves a great rest of the afternoon, rest of the evening, and we will definitely stay in touch. So, guys, thank you guys once again. Lucas, any closing thoughts?
No, that's it. I think thank you for coming. Thank you for your time.